Well, tell us about your exposure to Dr. Wallach, because I know you originally had Dr. Wallach's CD 19 years ago.
Yeah,
didn't listen to it.
Rub it in, Blake. Rub it in.
Well, I know it took me 3 times. Maybe you didn't get 3 back then. But what was it that actually got you to take a look at Dr. Wallach's protocols, his supplements?
That's a good question. I think it was timing. You know, the naturopathic medical community is very small. It's bigger now than it was when I was a freshman and even when I graduated. It's a very small profession and everybody knew everybody. So I knew who Dr. Wallach was, but all I really knew about him was that he was a naturopathic doctor who had a networked vitamin business, and I had a built-in a priori prejudice against networked businesses, and I have no idea why. I really don't know why that existed for me, but it did.
Because of that prejudice, you didn't even take a look at Dr. Wallach's programs or his products.
Boy, I'm kicking myself now. I didn't even take a look, right? Because my prejudice stopped me. It got in the way.
If I remember the story right, you're at a health conference and you run into Dr. Wallach and he invites you to come to a meeting.
Yeah, well, it's a little more complicated than that. I'm at an annual naturopathic medical conference, and I just checked in. I think it was someplace in Seattle, and I had been living in Massachusetts, so I had a long flight, and I was kind of tired. I just checked in, and I was sitting on the couch in the main reception area for the conference. And Dr. Wallach comes marching by. He waves at me and marches by, and then he stops, turns around, comes over, bends over, looks at me and says, I want to tell you what we're doing. Come down to Kankakee next week, and Kankakee was very close to where I was living at the time, and I'll show you what we're doing. What do you have to lose? I said, okay, Doc, I'm in. I don't know why I said that. I think it was just because I trusted him. You know, I was listening, I was open, I was receptive, and I trusted him. So I went to Kankakee, and that's the day my head exploded.
Your head exploded? What do you mean, your head exploded?
Well, here I am. You know, I'm a naturopathic physician, right? I've got 2 decades of clinical experience, and, you know, whenever anybody has a medical degree, let's face it, there's a little bit of hubris that comes along with that. You know, there's a little bit of self-importance, I think. So, you know, I thought that I was a pretty talented doctor. I mean, I'd gotten good clinical results. And here I am in Kankakee. And I'm the only doctor in the room other than Dr. Wallach. There's probably 45 lay people in the room who have had better results than I have with type 2 diabetes, high blood pressure, and arthritis. And they were lay people. And they had also helped more people in their lives than I had. And that's when my head exploded.
What did they do?
They were longevity distributors. They had heard Dr. Wallach, taken the products, recovered their health, became enamored of the business message and the mission that Dr. Wallach's on, and went for it. And this is a beautiful thing. And this is the thing. This is the hardest thing, I think, for people to understand, that health care is easy. Healing the body is easy. You don't have to be a doctor to do it. Surgery is difficult. You need to be a doctor to do that. You know, you need to know what you're doing when you're trying to pull a bullet out of somebody's arm or remove an infected gallbladder. But helping someone to recover from a chronic disease, supporting and promoting health and recovery in the human body is easier than falling off a truck. And when I realized that, I broke through. I had a Eureka moment. It was an aha moment, and my life has never been the same.
That's when you realize that if you give the body better stuff, it does better.
Absolutely. And the results that I was seeing from the people that were at the lecture were 100 times better than anything that I had seen previously. So not only if you give the body the good stuff, it gets better, but if you give the body excellent stuff, the results are phenomenal, fantastic, and sometimes unbelievable.
So you started using the products then?
Oh yeah, and I've never looked back.
Do you use them in your practice?
That's the only thing that I use in my practice. It's the only I threw everything else out. Why would you drink Annie Boone Springs green apple wine when you have access to a nice French Cabernet, right? There's a giant difference.
It hasn't made a difference in the results your patients see.
It's unbelievable. I mean, I don't even know what planet I'm on sometimes because I didn't think you could recover from type 2 diabetes that quickly. I didn't think you could recover from osteoporosis, osteoarthritis, high blood pressure that quickly. I didn't think you could recover from congestive heart failure and asthma that quickly. I didn't think that you could lose 130 pounds in 4 months. I didn't think you could do that. I didn't think you could regrow cartilage on top of a fake knee. Dr. Wallach's stuff produces such remarkable results. Sometimes I don't even know what planet I'm on anymore because I didn't think you could